Let's get y'all. In the NBA world, I feel like tier rankings are always a staple thing for this, whether you're ranking players or teams or jerseys, arenas, whatever it is. I just feel like NBA players or NBA fans are obsessed with ranking different things. And that's what we're doing in today's video. We're making a tier list ranking all the NBA teams based on watchability. Basically, we're just gonna put each NBA team into different tiers based on how likely I am to watch them this season. And before we get into the rankings, just wanna remind you guys to leave a like on this video, subscribe if this is the first time you're seeing me. We drop a bunch of cool NBA content throughout this offseason. Going into next season, we're gonna be doing a bunch, so make sure you hit that subscribe button. Let's get into the rankings. And here you guys get a look at our tier list. Right here you can see the different rankings we have. I'll try to watch every game, first choice, pretty fun, can be fun, I'll watch them on a slow day, and then I'll try to watch a few games because realistically, there's a few teams on here that I doubt many of you guys are going to watch unless you're actually a fan of that team. And then as you see right here, we have all of the NBA teams' logos right here. And we'll start right off by doing the first one right here, the Philadelphia 76ers. I think I'm gonna put them in the slow day category. I don't know what it is, but it just, every time I watch the 76ers, I feel like it's kind of like a slow pace, grinded out game, and I like more like fluidity in my offense. You know, like Joel Embiid, a lot of people say he's a free throw merchant and stuff like that. He does go to the free throw line a lot, which chops up the games. I'm not saying that he is a free throw merchant. But, you know, James Harden also is another guy that gets to the free throw line a lot. It just kind of stops the game a lot, you know, doesn't allow it to get a full growing pace. Now that I'm thinking about it, James Harden might not even be on this team, and then impaired Joel Embiid might not be on this team. If you want to know my full thoughts on that whole situation, I just made a video on that. Make sure you go check that on the channel. So this team might even slide down into that I'll watch a few games depending on how the rest of their offseason goes. Moving on to the next team, though, we have the Washington Wizards right here, and to no one's surprise, I'll try to watch a few games of them. I mean, I don't really see them being anything good. They just blew up their team, you know, traded KP, traded Bradley Beal. Jordan Poole could be cool to watch, you know, that he's going to have his own team, the first option. You know, Kyle Kuzma's still there. So they could have a few games where I'm sure it'll be like a big offensive explosion. I just kind of see them being towards the bottom of the league this year, and bad basketball is not something that I really enjoy watching, so I'll watch a few games of them. Here we got the Atlanta Hawks up next, and they're going to be joining the 76ers on the slow day category. Just in case you guys were wondering, I'm not ranking them like it doesn't matter which position they are in the tiers, it's just based by tiers. But the Atlanta Hawks right here, I'm not the biggest Trae Young fan. I know he's a great player and everything, but he just is not my type of player that I like to watch. I could be a Knicks bias right there, I don't know. I just don't really enjoy watching Trae Young play too much. The only real player that I'm a big fan of really on the Atlanta Hawks is DeJounte Murray. So if I'm watching them, I'll probably be watching them for DeJounte. Other than that though, I'll probably pick another team. Next up, the Cleveland Cavaliers right here. And they're going to go into the pretty fun category. Obviously, Donovan Mitchell, one of the best shooting guards in the NBA. One of the best bucket getters in the NBA. Big Spider fan. Really like his game. Like watching him play. Darius Garland, he's going to be taking some steps this season, I believe. Also, after last season, he was incredible. Evan Mobley defensively is great to watch. They're twin towers down there with Jared Allen. And then I really like the shooting that they added to this team. You know, with Max Strus and George Niang coming over, it's going to be able to spread the court a lot more for Donovan, for Darius, for Evan Mobley. So I'm excited to watch this new look Cavs team. Here for the Pistons. The Pistons, I'm going to put them in. I'll try to watch a few games. And if I'm being honest, those few games are probably going to be Knicks games when they verse the Knicks. I don't know what it is. Every single time the Knicks play the Pistons, it's just such a boring game. I guess maybe I gotta watch the Pistons play someone else, but I mean, they will be having Cade come back this season, so maybe that'll help boost, you know, my interest in the Pistons. They drafted Asar Thompson too. I'm excited to see him play. Besides that though, there's not too much I'm really interested in this Detroit Pistons roster. They do have Beef Stew, who just got a new extension, I think it was. So shout out to him. He's a New York guy, I like him. But yeah, there's not too much going on in Detroit for me. The Pacers here, we're bringing them up to the pretty fun tier. I really like Tyrese Halliburton. He's one of my favorite point guards in the NBA right now. I really like his playmaking. But honestly, a big part of this is they have two of my favorite role players in the NBA, both joining this team this season. Obi Toppin got traded from my favorite Knicks team over to Indiana, so I'm really excited to see him play in this new look. And then Bruce Brown, I've been saying all season how much of a Bruce Brown fan I am. He got that big old contract to go over there in Indiana. Then add on the young guys that they have too, and Benedict Mathurin, Andrew Nembhard, and Jarris Walker. They could be a really fun team. I'm excited to watch them. Next up for the Bucks, we're going to put them on the can be fun tier. When you have one of the best players in the NBA on your team, you really have no idea what could happen. Giannis could go out for a 50-point triple-double, and obviously I'm going to be tuning into that. I just feel like they're one of those teams that kind of just coast throughout the regular season. Like, they'll just blow teams out really fast and then rest their starters for like the fourth quarter. And I don't really want to watch Thanasis Antetokounmpo on the court. No disrespect. That's me personally. So I'm going to put them in the can be fun, because when they get a competitive, wire-to-wire game, amazing. When they blow teams out, though, it's The Toronto Raptors, this might surprise a few people, but they're going into the I'll try to watch a few games tier. I'm kind of assuming that they're going to be blowing it up halfway through this season. I expect Pascal Siakam to get traded, maybe OG Anunoby, I'm not really sure, but there's just not too much that I'm interested in there over at Toronto. I do really like Dennis Schroeder being over there, being their lead guard. He's playing well for Germany right now in the FIBA tournament, but like I said, there's not too much really I'm interested in Toronto, so I'll just be watching a few games from them. The Dallas Mavericks, these guys are going to be one of the top teams here. They're going into the first choice category, the best ranked team so far that we've gotten to. They're one of my first choices to watch on the League Pass. Luka Doncic is incredible, one of the best players in the league. Like I was talking about with Giannis, he can go out and put up the craziest game you've ever seen at any given night, so I'm going to be tuning in for that. Kyrie Irving, he's one of my favorite players to watch. Just pure bucket getter, just super efficient, getting to spots, taking tough shots, and making them. So that duo right there is going to be super dynamic. I'm excited to watch them for an entire season now. Also, Grant Williams coming in over there. He's going to have an increased role. I like him as a player and a person as well, so I want him to succeed. All around, I think Dallas is going to have a bounce-back year. I think they're going to be really good this season, and I'm excited to watch. Denver Nuggets, the reigning champs, they're joining the Dallas Mavericks over here up top on the first choice category. Nikola Jokic is, in my opinion, one of the most fun players to watch. Just to watch him dominate with his crazy passes, his effortless touch. Just anything about Jokic on offense, I love to watch. It's pristine basketball, peak basketball. Cannot wait for Denver basketball to be back so I can be watching Nikola Jokic. Here for the Grizzlies, we're going to put them in the slow day category because Ja's going to be missing the entire first half of the season, not first half, I dragged it. The first 25 games of the season, though. I expect them to come out to a slow start just because they're not used to not having, their best player on the court, regardless of how, prepared they are. It's, I assume, going to be just a little bit of a rough patch and a slow start. So I don't think it's going to be too fun to watch like that. I am excited to see Derrick Rose, though. Hopefully he can have a little bit more of a role here for the Grizzlies instead of with the Knicks. And then Jaren Jackson Jr., I'm excited to see how he steps up offensively. Besides that, though, I'm probably not tuning into the Grizzlies too much. For the Minnesota Timberwolves, we're going to be moving them into the can be fun category. Really, this is almost solely based on Anthony Edwards. He is killing it over there for Team USA in FIBA. I'm super excited to see him take this next jump this season. Almost everyone is talking about how he's going to jump into superstardom this season, and I'm excited to watch that. Also, Karl Anthony Towns is one of my favorite players in the NBA. He's been having a rough last, season with the injuries and everything. Hopefully, he can bounce back playing next to Rudy Gobert. I don't know how that dynamic is going to go. But I put him in the can be fun because it can go either way. Cat could be back and they're still struggling with the two, Twin Tower lineup, and then they're not that good. Or Cat can be back from the injury, really just, Ant takes that jump as well, and they're just killing the game. Realistically, it could go either way. The San Antonio Spurs, they're also going to be in the can be fun category. And I'm going to be honest, it's about 60% Victor Wembanyama and then like 40% Jeremy Sohan. I really like both of those players, or I really like Jeremy Sohan. And then Victor Wembanyama coming in, one of the most hyped prospects of all time. I don't think I have to explain this too much. I'm excited to see how this Spurs team works out. But the Utah Jazz here, I'm going to put them in the slow day category. They do take, it's not their fault, but they take a little step back because they are a West Coast team, and all of their games are going to start at 10 p.m. for me. And when I'm choosing a 10 p.m. game, if I'm staying up like that, I'm going to be choosing a team that I'm really excited to watch, and the Utah Jazz, unfortunately, are not that. They do have some cool players like Lauri Markkanen taking that big jump. That was really interesting to me. Walker Kessler as that, lockdown center down there. That's really interesting to me, too. But again, they kind of just, if they were on the East Coast, they may be a little bit higher here, but because of their time frame for me watching it, it gets late nights, I get tired. I'm probably not going to be watching them too much. The Clippers are also going to be joining the Utah Jazz there for a lot of the same reasons. Also, the fact of the injury history with them. A lot of times there's guys injured, or there's load management of Kawhi, of Paul George. And, you know, I want to see the stars play. If I'm watching them, I want to watch Paul George. I want to watch Kawhi Leonard. You know, Russell Westbrook, he'll probably be there. I'm excited to see him too. But those two main guys, if they're not playing, I'm probably not going to be tuning in, unfortunately. And they don't play a decent amount of the time. Phoenix Suns, the new super team of the NBA. I'm going to put them in the pretty fun category because I am a huge D-Book fan. When KD was on the Nets, just because my old roommate was a Nets fan, I was watching a lot of KD. I've fallen in love with KD's game as well. Those two bucket getters, really excited to watch together for an entire season. Then you add in the fold of Bradley Beal, and that just adds another layer to it. Eric Gordon, I'm excited to see how he's going to play as their sixth man. I assume they're sixth man. There's just a lot of different guys here on this team. Yuta Watanabe, I really like too. So, you know, I think they're going to be a fun team to watch. It's going to be a lot of buckets, a lot of fast-paced offense, and I'm here for it. The Portland Trail Blazers, I'm going to be putting in the I'll try to watch a few games. I'm really excited to watch Scoot Henderson. Obviously, you know, that one, not even full game, that one half of basketball he played at Summer League, he looked incredible. And I'm excited to watch him in the regular season for an extended period of time. Shaedon Sharpe there too with Anthony Simons. They got those young core right there. I assume Damian Lillard's going to be traded. And then kind of like what I was saying with the Washington Wizards, you know, when you just have a super young team, it's a lot of growth and a lot of ugly basketball. So I'm not going to be watching too many games. The Sacramento Kings here, we're putting them up into the first choice. They were super fun to watch. A lot of the fast-paced offense like I've been talking about. I guess there's a little bit of a trend that I'm subconsciously putting into this. I'm just realizing now I like to watch offense. De'Aaron Fox was one of the clutchest players in the NBA. I can't even say one of. He won Clutch Player of the Year. He was the clutchest player last season in the NBA. Sabonis, I used to really dislike watching him when he was on the Pacers. Now that he's on the Kings, I don't really mind it too much. I know he's kind of elevated his game, so I'm sure that takes a step into it. Malik Monk, I also really like on this team too. Just all around, super fun, energetic team. Light the beam, we're watching. And for my favorite team right here, the New York Knicks, I'll try to watch every game. Last season, I watched at least 70 games. This year, I'm going to actually keep track of every game that I watch. I watched at least 70 games of the Knicks last season. They're my favorite team. I'm going for 80. I'm shooting for 80 games. I don't know if I'm going to be doing it, but, you know, with Jalen Brunson, Julius Randle, I love watching those two as my dynamic duo. You know, we got Josh Hart for the full season now. Dante DiVincenzo coming in. Isaiah Hartenstein. Love watching him off our bench. Just all around, obviously, they're my favorite team. I love pretty much every player on this team. I'm going to be watching them a whole lot. The Pelicans here, they're going to be falling into the slow day category. Basically, everything I said about the Clippers can transfer over to the Pelicans. You know, Zion Williamson, what's going on with his health? He sits a lot of games, and I want to watch him play. Brandon Ingram last season, he also dealt with a bunch of injuries, and I feel like that's kind of becoming a recurring thing with Brandon Ingram, just dealing with a lot of injuries. Unfortunate for both of them, but like I said with the Clippers, if I'm watching them, I want to be able to watch their best players and watch them at the full strength, and their team is barely at full strength. Here for the Charlotte Hornets, I'm putting them into the I'll try to watch a few games category. I really do like LaMelo Ball, but beyond that, there's not too much on this roster that I'm looking forward to watching. You know, obviously Brandon Miller's was the number 2 overall draft pick. I'm going to be watching them to watch him, like, you know, play some NBA basketball and everything like that, but I'm not the biggest fan of his. There's not too much on this roster. They have Miles Bridges back, but that's kind of eh. I'll be watching a few games. Houston Rockets, I'm going to put them into the I'll watch a few games category too. Almost strictly based off Alperen Sengun. I'm a really big fan of him. I like watching him, but beyond that, there's not too many guys on this roster that I enjoy either. I am interested in watching Ime coach this team and this young roster, see how they play with like a new direction, but I'm going to be honest, they're not going to be one of my top priorities. The Miami Heat, we're putting them into the can be fun category. If Damian Lillard gets traded there, they'll probably be bumped up to the pretty fun, but for right now, we're putting them in the can be fun. Just because, as we just saw, they don't really take the regular season seriously. They were the 8th seed. And when the postseason came along, boom, all the way to the finals. That's Jimmy Butler experience for you. I do like watching Jimmy when he takes over games. Bam Adebayo, one of my favorite centers to watch as well. But again, like I said, the regular season, it's not really Miami Heat basketball time. It's really the postseason. That's when you really want to watch the Miami Heat. The Chicago Bulls, they're going into the I'll try to watch a few games category. I've said a lot of times on this channel that I'm not the biggest fan of their big three. I don't know, something about DeMar DeRozan's game that I'm just not too keen to. I do like Zach LaVine, he's pretty cool. I do like Alex Caruso, he's pretty cool. Beyond that, though, not too much that I'm watching. I don't expect the Bulls to be too good this season. For the Brooklyn Nets, we're going to put them in the slow day category, and that's pretty much just if I want to watch Mikal Bridges because, of course, he'll be on the Villanova Knicks very soon. He's the last piece of the puzzle that we need. But in all seriousness, though, I don't see them being anything too crazy this next coming season. I do hope Mikal Bridges still has his insane season that he had ever since being traded to Brooklyn. But beyond that, I don't really see too much going on with their roster. I'm going to keep them on the low. Ooh, I almost forgot. Shout out to Nick Claxton. That's my guy right there. Shout out Nick Claxton. I can't talk about the Nets without bringing up him. Coming down to the home stretch right here, the OKC Thunder. They're being into the... I'm going to put them in this is an audible right here. I was going to put them in first choice, but I'm going to put them in pretty fun. The Thunder were the surprise team of the NBA last season. You know, it's a super fun team to watch. Shea, I'm a big fan of. Josh Giddey, I really like. Jalen Williams, Chet is coming back this season. I think they're going to be a really fun team to watch. I think they're going to be a really good team to watch. They're going into the pretty fun category. Golden State Warriors, we're moving them into the can be fun category. With the Warriors, when they're hitting and when they're locked in, there's not too much better to watch basketball-wise than the Golden State Warriors. They do have one of the best players and probably one of the most electric players in the NBA in Steph Curry, so him alone, you're going to want to tune into them a lot. I'm pretty sure this is a hot take, I am a Draymond Green guy. I do like watching Draymond play, but like I said, sometimes they're just off and something is just weird about them, that they're not hitting, they're not running their offense to perfection like they normally do, and they just get bumped down for that. Down to the final three teams, the Boston Celtics, they're in the pretty fun tier. I really do like watching the Celtics system, just, you know, their defense locked in, just getting out in transition and doing that fast-paced offense, really enjoyable. The only reason they're not in the first choice category is because when it really slows down and they're just doing like iso ball, it could get kind of ugly when JT or JB are not hitting. I am really excited to see how Kristaps plays alongside Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, though, how he plays in this Boston Celtics system, both on offense and on defense. Really excited to see how they use him. And now the Los Angeles Lakers. I'm tempted to watch every game, but I know realistically, like I said, with the 10 o'clock games, I'm not going to be able to watch all that. But I am going to be putting them into the first choice category. Big LeBron James fan. He's the reason I watch NBA basketball is because of LeBron. I also really do like Anthony Davis, and then I think they're just going to be a really good team, this Lakers team. You know, in free agency, they had a lot of good signings. I'm kind of expecting a 2020-esque season for the Los Angeles Lakers this year. And last but definitely not least, the Orlando Magic. This could be a surprise for you guys, but if you watch the videos, it's definitely not. They're in the first choice category. Last season, they were my favorite League Pass team to watch. Whenever there was nothing to watch, I would I'd tune into Orlando Magic games. It definitely also helps that their games start at 7 o'clock and the Knicks start at 7:30. So when I'm just trying to start my basketball night early, Orlando Magic, my first choice by far. Paolo was super fun to watch. Franz was super fun to watch. Also, shout out to New York's very own Cole Anthony, Markelle Fultz. He was really cool. You know, they have a lot of guards going on. Anthony Black also, I'm excited to see him, his rookie season. All around, I just really like the young Orlando Magic team. They play with a lot of energy, play fast, and that's exactly what I like to watch. And this is the final rankings. Let me know what you guys think. I tried to make it even at least a little bit, where it wasn't too top heavy, wasn't too down heavy or bottom heavy. I don't know how you would say that expression. But I mean, it's kind of funny how a lot of the tiers have the same amount of teams, with the New York Knicks standing on top. Let's go, baby. This was my first time making a tier list video, so if you guys enjoyed, make sure you leave a like on this video and leave in the comments down below what you liked about it. And also, if you have ideas for another tier list we can make sure you leave that down low as well. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure you leave it a like, subscribe so you don't miss the next one. In the description, there's links to all my social medias, so make sure you follow me on all those to keep up to date with me. Catch ya.